Hope everybody's doing well today. I want to welcome everybody to the Unimpressed podcast. And today we have a very special guest on the show. His name is Mr. Zion Clark. He's calling in from Los Angeles, and I want to welcome him. And he's got a pretty special story to tell. So, welcome, Zion. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Life's great. If anybody follows what I'm doing, I've been traveling a lot, so getting work from a lot of different martial arts masters because I'm looking for my next fight. The fans are itching, so I'm just kind of playing out my options.
I kind of like to do things a little different. I kind of like to unearth who I'm talking to and see what we can teach
Hmm.
people today. And, what's very interesting to me is when I think about you and what you have going on, it's like, where's that internal drive come from, based on your story and your history and when did you recognize that internal drive?
Man, I was probably 18. It's I became a pro athlete right out the gate, starting with track and field. So it's been I just had a lot of big moment of realization back when I was still in high school where I was like, oh, I can actually do something with my life. After 17 years of crap, being 18 and having a whole couple doors in front of myself, I was able to really, to hone in my senses, and just really start focusing on what I really want in my life. Stop worrying about what other people were thinking, and then boom, my athletics just started accelerating at a crazy rate.
If you're listening to the show and you don't know Mr. Clark, I mean, he doesn't have any legs. He was born with no legs, right?
Yes, sir.
And I think that's very commendable of you when I think about like the kids today, and how sensitive kids are today growing up, with technology and the
Yeah.
fact that, you dealt with that part of it and
Hmm.
then you had this other thing. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, because if you think about yourself, nobody should have any excuses, right?
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? And when you started going down this journey at 18, I mean, what was your first goal when you started having this thought process?
Man, it wasn't necessarily I had really big goals set ahead. I didn't know that even now, like if I would have told myself at 18, even when I realized that I wanted to keep my athletic process going, I wouldn't be able to tell you now that I'd be a pro fighter and I'd be a pro track and field athlete. I'd be working with the world's top fighters to help me get into their leagues. Like that's not anything I ever really set a goal on. Fighting maybe, I've been a big fan of the UFC and everything since I was a little kid. And watched. It was 2011. I think John Jones won his first belt. I was a eighth grader, man, and I saw him do that. And if last night, 2 nights ago, I was talking to him face to face, man. If I could have told myself that all that would have been happening, I wouldn't believe it. But here's the thing: the thing about goal setting is the way I think is I had to set small goals at a time. So it's just really working on my technique and my skill in the sport of wrestling, working on different technique and skill in the sport of track and field, to where they would consistently start adding up to my performance. So then you progressively got to see me explode onto the map as each performance I got better and better. More matches I started becoming more dominant, and that stretched all the way through college, all the way up until now that I have a pro record of 1-0 in MMA fights.
As you were growing up, what kind of things did you have to deal with? I mean, with kids today, I don't think kids today they don't cherish a lot of things or give value to a lot of things, and they're
Hmm.
very short-sighted, if you will. I mean, what was that like having to endure that as a kid?
I mean, as a kid, I'm 25. I feel like my generation is probably one of the last ones that we actually played outside. When we were kids, they only had flip phones. No one really cared about the flip phones until the iPod came out.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like we grew up being in the streets. We grew up being outside all the time, and so like I didn't have many friends at all. And if people said something, I didn't really hear them. Unless you were to come up to my face and want to bully me, which I did. I did like have issues with that, but at the same time, I just, with my situation living growing up really rough. So then, with that being said, I'll usually be one to fight back. So like just from there to where I'm at now, there's a lot of maturity, there's a lot of growth, and I feel really happy where I am in life right now.
Now you were adopted.
Hmm.
Well, I gotta commend the lady who adopted you. Did you have a lot of fear when that part of your life took place? How'd you feel about that situation?
I mean, man, I've been in and out. I was in and out of 8 different homes growing up. So that being said, I didn't really care. I just want to make sure I had a roof over my head. But then inside that, I found a whole family that really cared for me. And, I wanted to make sure I could do right by them. And my mom and my sisters and my uncles, my grandparents, everybody that I love them very dearly. And when that happened, I still have my issues at home when I got adopted, but with this being the right family for me, they were able to help me really focus and help me just think straight.
When you wake up every day and you go after the day, what is the first thing you think about when you get up every day?
Shoot, my dog, I have a 1-year-old pit bull at the crib.
You know? Nice.
I'm thinking of I wake up and I was like, all right, no pee on the floor, no crap on the floor. It's gonna be a good day. So,
I like that. I like
but aside from that, I call my agent or I call my book manager or somebody to see what the things I have scheduled for the day is. I sit down, I watch a little TV, I stretch, and then I get going. I'm like a very simple man. That I don't have any rituals I do every morning. I'm like everybody else. I get up, I got things to do. It's just the things I do are vastly different from others.
I can tell you're very grounded and you have a very strong mind, because to internalize, a lot of people I don't think can internalize the things that you experienced in your life and be able to get past that. I mean, it takes a very strong
Hmm.
person to do that because I've did some of that myself, a lot of things that I had to internalize and think about and find the answer for myself. Do you feel like you found these answers for yourself? I don't think a lot of people could tell you the right thing to do based on just what I feel from you.
Yeah, everybody can have their opinion, so with that being said, you got to really think, is this good for me? What are the consequences? What are the setbacks? What are the gains you get from it? I did I've been having to do like self-thinking like that for my own decisions for a long time because I didn't really have a support system. So now that I'm older, I feel like it's easier to process what's good for me and what's not, given that I've probably experienced three different lifetimes in 17 years, just from the types of people I was around, from the types of things I experienced, and from how I had to mature way faster, just to keep up and survive.
I saw the video of you running, and the time, I guess, the first time you did it, they missed the time. What was that time you did? What
That
was that, a
first one,
40? The 40? Was that a 40-yard dash?
no, it's a 20 meter.
20 meter. Okay.
Just see if I could break the world record for it. And I ended up doing it. Funny thing is, the first run that I did for it, I actually moved faster than what the world record is right now because I completely used all my energy for that first take.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, then I came back and did it again and didn't duck under the sunset this time.
Have you touched any type of spirituality or anything like that?
A bit, I do. I am a man of God. At the end of the day, I'm a believer in Christ, and then it's for me, faith is important. I wouldn't say I circulate my life around it, but it has been God that's gotten me through some tough times when there's nobody I can pray about things, and sometimes that's what you need, and that's what's kind of kept me a little grounded too. My big thing is music, so I would listen to a lot of gospel music on top of like I'm from the hood, man, so I listen to like my hip hop and shit, but at the same time, it's dude, Christ has played a big part. Every success that I have, every victory that I win, I give all glory to God first.
Was this in Ohio?
Yeah, there's Ohio, Canton, Ohio.
Yeah, in Ohio. And what was that like? I mean, just,
I mean, it's
having a
rough.
disability and being there in the hood?
I mean, I had homies, I have some homies that aren't here today now. We had to band together and learn how to survive. Those are my brothers for life.
Yeah.
You feel like those are my dogs. You feel so it's like growing up there, we all have our own struggles. I wasn't the only one struggling. We could relate to that,
Yeah.
and we could really come together. And then That's how we That's how we've been running with each other the last 13 years or more.
Nice. And I don't think a lot of people look at that the right way because I think that's a survival mechanism. If you have to
Yeah.
survive and you want to survive, then you got to, certain things happen and, that's what happens, but you're still trying to live and I guess progress in life. And a lot of people I don't think look at that the right way because you can't.
Yeah, no, there's some I heard this quote from G Herbo. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a big time artist that I follow. And he said he only acts gangster when he has to. Besides that, he's no different from me and you. He's trying to live his life. He has kids. He has things to do. He has things to take care
Yeah.
of. And like that goes the same for me. I'm only gonna be a gangster when I need to be. Aside from that, I want to make sure I can spread positivity, live my life, and be comfortable.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of times, just because you have to make a choice for survival doesn't mean
Hmm.
you're a bad person at the end
No,
of the day.
exactly.
You know
And
what I mean?
I feel like that gets misjudged pretty often because in some cases of like I would say like self-defense, the person that defend themselves can still be sent to prison, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. And we are said to have a right to defend ourselves in our country, but yet we do it and we still get in trouble for
In a way, I think should be some way to unearth that and maybe put some better knowledge out there
it.
because
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. To me, I'm a clairsentient. So I'm a natural healer and I don't sell it. I don't try to sell it or make money off of it, but I have this thing that showed up in my life and I don't know, I just kind of look at things a little different. And, environment is a big part of direction in everybody's life,
Hmm.
right? And whatever you have to do in that environment is what you have to do at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and like in some situations, at least this is what I've realized. I'm from a small city, man, so there's not a ton of us. There's a lot. There's a good amount of people, but like still nothing compared to Los Angeles or Atlanta or New Philadelphia. You know what I mean? But here's the thing: most people they don't leave their own city, so you might get stuck in a situation where you're fighting for your life day in day out, and that's your life. That's your life now.
Hmm.
And there's not really opportunity for you to expand your horizons. Me, I feel blessed and lucky to be able to see where I'm at, to see where I'm at and where I come from. I have homies that are still back home that are still on the same streets, and it's not I would say necessarily completely their doing, but the system has set it up for us to not be able to go towards a certain line of what we can do, and it takes a special type of individual to know how to step over that line and to really learn how to break free, and then boom, you start getting all these other experiences.
When you lost a friend, lost your friend and where you grew up, what was that like? If when you lose a friend like that, I mean,
I mean, man, he was like my older brother. It's hard, because like you have all these memories and they're the ones that taught you how to move a certain direction. They're the ones that taught you how to. They led by example. You would see what they did right. You would see what they did wrong, and if you were smart, you learn from
yeah,
it. And it's sorry. Stop that. But you would see so I have a puppy, but you would see that you would see what to do, you would see how to move and how to talk and how to navigate through different types of people. And for me, my homie, he really showed me a lot and he really hung out with me like every day, we was in the back of the whip just back in the day, smoking a joint,
yeah,
and he just talking about life, man.
yeah,
And most people they see that they see that on the outside and they're like, oh, them cats doing drugs. But on
yeah,
the inside, we're actually having full on conversations with each other, creating memories.
yeah,
And so like I have a lot of memories like that where like it's just me and the homie in the whip, just riding around the city, those things like and you gotta think every time I go home I'll never get to do that again.
yeah,
And it's hard, but at the same time, we have to learn and we have to keep growing. Because I know for a fact he wanted us to keep running our stuff up. Because while he was still here, he would always tell me, "Bro, you're doing it. You gotta keep going."
yeah. I mean, that is, I mean, I think that's a good example based on what you were having to deal with. I mean, I think whoever that guy was, I mean, I think that shows a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? That maybe society wouldn't shine a light on. This guy showing heart and showing some humanity, that maybe isn't explained.
Absolutely. And everybody is different. Everybody loves different. Everybody hates different. You can cover hate with a nice smile and some kind words, even though you have the most illest intention behind it. But at the same time, you could have a rough situation and you could be put in situations that um are designed for you to fail and you could still have a positive outlook.
Even with the disability, when did you realize that your abilities were probably bigger than were they bigger than what you anticipated? Did you like,
Yeah, for sure. I did not imagine I'd be able to do some of the things that I do, whether it's athletically or just be at this state of mind mentally. I've had to deal with a lot of crap since I've started having success, more success, more problems.
I think when you're an athlete, I think it's gaining confidence, right? When did you gain confidence and realize that you could be really good at what you're trying to do?
I mean, shit. I was probably 18. I had a lot of success, man, in high school. I won like 13 matches in a row before I lost one, and I lost some of the best guys in the state of Ohio. And I was like, that's what it takes to beat me now. I said, okay, let's go. And like after that, I started really pushing it. and was able to get to the next level.
How do you analyze a fight?
I always watch the footage, see what happens, see where I slipped up, see where I get hit, and see where I get taken down. I look at all my mistakes and I analyze them, and then I go back and put myself those situations on the mat in real practice to see, wait, where is this mistake happening from? And then I drill it 1,000 times until I get it to perfection. And then boom, I learned a new technique. I learned how to better upgrade myself so the same thing doesn't happen again.
Now, when you watch an opponent, do you cater different strategies based on the opponent?
Yeah, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different style of fighting, different way that they move. So one guy I face might not move like the next guy that I'll have to fight, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't just base it off of every one opponent's skill. I'm gonna have to study you, look into you, see how you move, and see how you get to work. And then from there, I start making my own game plan. And
And
here's
what
the
did
thing: with fighting and wrestling, that game plan could still just go completely out the window when the fight starts. So you always got to be ready for anything. So you train
what
everything.
what are you trying to do out the gate?
I can't tell you that because yeah,
Oh yeah, you don't want to give away your secrets.
no, I don't. I actually don't like giving away my secrets at all. Even
Uh,
like before fights pop up, I try to delete. I archive like as much stuff as I can so nobody can see anything.
and move in the next couple years, what are you trying to accomplish?
Maybe a couple world titles in my athletics, depending whether it's wrestling, track and field, or MMA. Whatever one happens first, and then besides that, I'm just trying to live my life, man. I don't have any ulterior goals. Yeah, I'm extremely famous right now, and it's really like stuff's been blowing up. I don't care about that. 10 years from now, I'm not gonna be known as the famous. I'm not gonna be known as the elite wrestler. I'm gonna be known as the retired wrestler. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Like aside from that, I just want to live a good life, man. Maybe start a family. Like, just really just look at the next stage of things. And I'm still gonna be speaking. I'm still gonna be doing appearances, acting, all that fun stuff. You know what I mean? That I've really like established myself in now. But aside from that, I'm just a normal guy trying to live that most absolute best life that I can for myself.
Well, I think you could really educate, talking about being in Canton and that, overcoming that. Now you're sitting in LA. I mean, I think you could teach a lot of people a lot of things.
Oh,
And that's a
absolutely,
big deal.
and that's where the speaking comes in, so I can do exactly that.
What is your narrative with your speeches?
They're all different. I don't give the same speech every time. I feel like I would be boring if I did that. I approach it differently. I don't even write down my speeches. They give me a premise on what to talk about, and I think about what has to do with what I have to talk about, what it has to do with what event I'm at, or who I'm speaking to. I analyze the crowd, analyze the event, and then I go from there. Write a couple points on a cue card, and those are my anchors.
Have you ever tried to tap into your spirituality and yourself?
Like, what do you mean, like spirituality? Because I'm about to be working with Mike Tyson's shaman here
Yeah.
coming up soon.
I mean, I'm
So and
basically a
on that,
shaman
okay, so on that level, no, I have not. I'm getting ready to because I really want to like really know myself.
there's a lot of high intelligence there
Oh
just
no,
from
I
your
know.
reading.
That's why I'm doing it. I really want to.
Because that's kind of what I do is like I like to get into conversations and then read off the conversation and then tell a story through the conversation or what the responses are.
Hmm.
But if you're able to get out there and just, take an outline, right? And then go and fill in the content. I mean, you may be dialed in to some higher thing that you don't even realize yet, is what
Yeah,
I see.
maybe. I've really accessed that. I've worked with different speaking coaches on how to deliver the most impactful way I can. And now when it comes to spirituality, that's gonna help me really tune everything up to an either higher level, especially working with a shaman to kind of like open everything up.
Definitely think you'll tap into something there that you just because I didn't tap into it till later in life, but I saw that I met shamans, I met people along the way, and it was part of my journey, and it's almost like my crew, were seeking this lifestyle, and I was like the least one to get there, and then it just shows up in my life, because
Yeah,
I'm Native American, Cherokee Indian, and having heat come out my hands is something that I never thought would be happening. If that makes
yeah,
sense. You know what I mean? And I know you're going through this young process of learning, your landscape and who you are. But I think if you stay centered and just stay with yourself and don't believe everything you hear,
hmm,
believe in your first 10 seconds of instincts, I think that's going to lead you in the right direction because, sometimes people try to, especially in entertainment and the world you're in, stay true to yourself and go on your own personal instincts first and don't
yeah,
listen to the nonsense. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, absolutely.
what's the next big event you have on the calendar?
Shoot, I mean, I wouldn't call it an event, but I'm going to South Africa for a week on Wednesday.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, gonna
Nice.
make some connections out there, build my presence out there, and just check out the culture.
You have a
Oh
book?
yeah, so yep, I'm coming out with my book, Work with What You Got, by being Candlewick, partnered with my writer James Hirsch. And it's a book about my life, all the things that I don't touch on when I speak or that aren't in the Netflix documentary or aren't in some article are all in this book. So to get a better understanding of why I think the way that I do. And it's my memoir, essentially. And I keep hearing I'm pretty young to have a memoir, but like I said, I have 10 times the amount of experience as somebody my age in general. So it's enough for a book. And I feel like the people need to read this to understand what's going on in this country from my point of view. And that from there on, you can make your own justified opinions. And I just hope that it's really impactful.
Well, you're definitely an old soul, 100%. I mean, I can see that. And if they want to find any information about Mr. Clark, where do they go to?
If you go to my Instagram, Big Z97, or my Facebook, Big just Zion Clark, or my everything else is Big Z across my handles. I'll have the little blue check mark, so you'll be able to see that. And from there, I have a link in every one of those pages to everything that I'm doing, my speeches, the events I'm going to be at that I've already done, just everything that I'm doing.
I don't want to hold you up, but I think you're definitely an inspiration. And was there anything else you wanted to put out to the world before we started to come to a close here?
Only thing is check out my next fight. I'm going to figure out who that's going to be soon and be prepared for me to put on another show.
This has been Mr. Zion Clark on the Unimpressed podcast, and I'm John Edmonds Cosma, the CEO of Bang Productions.